ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ike Farida. I'm the founder and managing partner of Farida Law Office, an Indonesian firm domiciled in Jakarta in Indonesia. First and foremost, I would like to thank you for the JILPIT for the opportunity to participate again in the 7th JILPIT Tokyo Comparative Labor Policy Seminar in 2024. And a special thank you for the President of JILPIT, Fujimura Sensei, and of course for Araki Sensei. I hope that everybody is healthy there in Japan. And also thank you to the committee. Today, unfortunately that I cannot join there. It's really regretful and very sad. But I hope the next time I could join there in Japan. Before I start, I would like to express my deep sympathy to the Palestinian people in Gaza and in Rafah for the last 6 months. The children, women, men, and elderly over there are suffering from the daily bombardment. And then now they are suffering from the malnutrition. I hope that the problem there in Palestine will be end very soon. I would like to ask all participants also to together to support the humanity and people who is suffering now in Palestine. Let me start my presentation with the title of the State of Indonesia Labor Unions Navigating Labor Dynamic and Challenges. Over the past 2 decades, Indonesian labor force actually experienced consistent economic growth. The survey from the Central Bureau Statistics reported that there is a significant increasement from year to year, as you can see in the PowerPoint. In 2022, it is 138.22 billion, increasing in 2023, the Indonesian labor force reached the highest figure of 146.62 million. With the labor force, participation rate is almost 70%. While in the right side, there is an imbalance. Actually, we can see the employment opportunities within male and female workers. We can see from the following graph, there are more than 85 million male workers than female workers, which is around 61%. Compared to the female workers, the male workers is actually higher. The Indonesian news form of work. The Indonesian labor force exhibit diverse employment types, formal workers, informal, and GIG work, and also remote work. The formal sector, including government and manufacturing roles, offer stability due to strong capital, minimizing turnover. On the other hand, informal labor comprises self-employed individual in various sectors, and the GIG economy living in digital era provide flexibility job opportunities, attracting freelancer amid Indonesian largely informal labor force. GIG works flexibility and minimal qualification requirement enable individual to find work and income autonomously. This shift has significantly decreased open unemployment rates in major Indonesian cities, dropping to 5.2% in August 2023 from the previous year is 5.86%. Challenge related to the expansion of the new form of work, balancing the evolving employment landscape with workers' rights protection is crucial, demanding the active role of the labor union. Despite their protection function, some employers receive union as threat, leading to workers' intimidation. While the government commitment to safeguard workers' rights is evidenced through Law Number 21, year 2000, concerning labor union. It is fall short in accommodation emerging form of work like GIG and remote workers. This legislation primarily focus on formal labor only, so neglecting the informal labor and other workers. Labor relation law in Indonesia. As you can see from the PowerPoint, the labor relation law in Indonesia as the history before the enactment of the labor unions law, workers' basic rights and equal treatment opportunities were protected by the Constitution of the Republic of the Indonesia year 1949. Government's commitment to labor rights was reinforced by ratifying International Labour Organization or ILO Convention number 87 through presidential decree number 93, and other convention. Actually, you can see the labor union law itself, born in 2020, 2003, while the labor union law is actually born in 2000. So the government has quite good attention to this issue. So the advantages from this law is actually labor union recognized and independent and democratic organization. It is ensure that the formation and registration of the labor union remain free from interference by the company or by the government or by political party. It is also prohibit any action that obscure or coerce the workers from forming or joining the labor union. So nobody inside of the company can force anybody to join or not to join the labor union. It is guaranteed by this law. And then the law gap is actually center more on formal rather than informal labor or another workers. I believe that the Malaysia also has a similar problem with Indonesia. Informal workers often comprising group with fewer than 10 members are exempt from the obligation to form a union. So wherever you in Indonesia, if you have a company that the employee is less than 10%, they cannot make a labor union. So unless it is more than 10, then they can form a labor union. A worker can only be a member of one union. This is also one of the gap. One workplace, similarly to union, only can affiliate it to one federation, and one federation can only to affiliate it to the one confederation. And also there is a barrier to recognize the collective bargaining agents. The state of labor union in Indonesia and challenges it faces. The Central Bureau of Statistic data of union density rate reveal a decline in workers' affiliation with labor union. Specifically, the National Labor Force Survey highlight this trend among both employees and self-employed individual. In 2021, male workers' labor union affiliation was 10.53%. It is dropping into 10.13% in 2022. A similar decline is observed among female workers. Overall, the report indicates that 7.53 million workers, or almost 30%, of the workforce were labor union member. However, it is decreased in 2022. The figure decreased to 7.5 million. Yeah. So in essence, approximately 12 out of 100 workers with employee and self-employed status were labor union members in 2022. The trend in unions rates. The dynamic of union membership are influenced by the various sectors, including shift of the labor market, advancement in technology, as you can see in the PowerPoint, and the green economy, for instance, are fostering new work style like remote work in creating opportunities in sectors such as renewable energy, with pose challenges for the labor union to uphold workers' rights. Yeah. Additionally, the declining participation of young workers in unions over the past 5 years can be attributed to evolving work preferences, with freelance arrangement gaining popularity, especially for the young generation. To address these changes, the labor union must adapt to effectively represent workers' interests. This decline in union membership is not unique in Indonesia. Even countries like the United States, for example, have experienced similar trends. Yeah, we just also hear our colleague from Malaysia also is declining of the member of the labor union. The regulatory challenges for the labor union in Indonesia. From a regulatory perspective, the presence of law number 21, 2000, has indeed raised issue for the labor unions. The problem that arises in the restriction on the workers' right to organize. As a result, many workers face pressure and even restriction from their companies. Not all actually, but those situation is still exists. To refrain from the involving themselves from the labor union, from the 230,000 registered company, it is only 7,000, or only 3% of the company have labor union. So only 3%, even it doesn't reach 10%. There is a huge disparity between the number of companies and labor union in Indonesia. Another challenge in establishing labor union is a fragmentation of the organization based on the interest of the company. Yeah. So the growth in the proportion of informal workers in Indonesia will be the largest contributor actually to the country's labor force. By 2022, there will be almost 60% of the equivalent to 80.24 million informal workers. So the informal workers in Indonesia is still very high. The role of government in the dual structure labor market. The government holds an important role in alleviating the disparities faced by the insecure nature of informal workers. The first, their current social security program run by the government separates those who are formal and informal workers. This difference lies into two things. One is social security covering informal workers does not include retirement, for example, and then informal workers must pay full premium by themselves, while if you are working in the company, then parts of the social security will be paid by the company, or most of the part of the obligation is paid by the company. The role of labor union in tackling the current labor issue. The labor unions grappling with the declining membership, particularly evident in Indonesia with only 11.76% union density, face hurdles due to the surge of informal work and enduring restrictive law. Despite these obstacles, they can play a vital role in supporting GIG works. Take, for instance, Indonesia aerospace sector, where GIG workers have found representation in the labor union. We can see the implication of the membership of the labor union is keep dropping, as it is, you can see from the PowerPoint. Implication of increasing the Indonesian-Japan bilateral relationship on labor union in Indonesia. With the increasement of the cooperation between the Indonesia and Japan in labor exchange, there are a number of implications that it may have toward industrial relation in Indonesia, especially in the context of the labor union. First, an increasing bilateral labor exchange between Japan and Indonesia aimed at facilitating the expatriation and repatriation of the Indonesian migrant workers would impact labor market dynamic and the activities of labor union protecting migrant workers' rights. Second is trajectory of the wages increase in Japan, and then number three is support for youth employment. As a conclusion, I would like to say that in the conclusion, Indonesia labor market has seen significantly changes recently due to the shift of demographic, technology, and work pattern. This has given rise to GIG work and remote work, which not only provides flexibility but also raises concern about workers' right and protection. Two, despite of obstacle, labor's union have demonstrated resilience by advocating for GIG workers' right, exemplified by initiative like the labor union for the metal. However, the labor union continue to struggle with the declining membership rate and then restrictive law. And then to address this issue, the government should prioritize formalization of employment, and providing better social protection for all workers is crucial. And for the labor union, they must adapt to market change, including the growth of remote work and GIG economy, to effectively represent workers' interests. All being said, I hope this presentation can explain about Indonesia current labor situation and labor policy. If there is any question, I would gladly answer it. Thank you for having me, and then have a nice day. Assalamualaikum.